the Batman, Earth, whatever in DC, because it ain't the DCEU's Batman, it ain't the cartoon Batman, so it's not the DC animated universe, and it's not the Arrowverse's Batman, because that guy was a cuckold who got killed by Batgirl, by Batwoman. He was played by Kevin Conroy for one episode, got himself blown up. That's the Arrowverse's Batman. This one, they really go into the detective part of Batman, which isn't a bad thing. Although there are moments of this film where it will drag. It's like I saw a couple people in the movie theater I was in check their watches. I mean, I saw this on April 3rd. That's how long ago I saw this thing. I'm just now getting around to reviewing it because no one really cares about these reviews anyways. But I saw some people actually getting bored. It's like one guy even mentioned out loud, "God, when's this movie gonna end?" Which was kind of a little rude, but I guess he was really bored of it. This was after a part of the movie where it probably could have ended. It's just the extra bits were going and the film was still going. Because there were a couple times in the film where it felt like, okay, this is where it should end. One part, it would be, okay, so now we need to come back for part 2. The other part, it'd be, okay, film's done, it's over, boom. I don't want to give them any spoilers away, but I guess I can after this. I give it a C, we'll probably never watch it again. 3, 2, 1, spoiler time. They catch the Riddler. Batman catches the Riddler, and everything's fine. Turns out, nope, everything's not fine. He's gonna blow up the city's water walls and flood the city and kill everybody. Okay, you could have stopped the film when Riddler was arrested. Boom, Batman saved the day. Because the rest of it is just, okay, Batman saved the day again with this water thing, because he showed the city how he was a good person or a hero, that kind of thing. How he learned his lesson, because in the beginning of the movie, he beats a guy basically to death, saying, "I'm vengeance," and then at the end of the movie, one of Riddler's little cronies, like his incels, I couldn't think of a word, they mention it in the movie, says that he's vengeance, and when Batman sees that that's wrong, he decides he's no longer going to do that. How was Edward Cullen as Batman? He was fine as Batman. I mean, he's better than George Clooney as Batman. And Will Arnett, like the Lego Batman, he's better than him. But, he's not better than, like, Keaton or Kilmer or Affleck or, I think that's it. I think it's just those three. Oh. Bale. Couldn't think of his name. I thought I already said it. My brain filled in Keaton as Bale. Not Keaton. Kilmer as Bale. He's better than Adam West. But Adam West wasn't playing Batman. Adam West was playing a caricature. That whole show is just a caricature of the story. It's just a big joke. It's a gag. It's a gag show. It's like, although they played it straight, and it's supposed to be played for straight seriousness, but it's just funny. It's not like Brave and the Bold, where they knew it was a huge joke. Even in the last episode, they admit it's just a huge effing joke. Which would have been funny as hell if they had like the Joker do it, because his whole thing is, it's just a joke, or life's just a joke. That would have been funny if they had like him directing the show. Like an alternate, like DCAU's Batman, the DCAU's official Joker, Mark Hamill's Joker, is directing the Brave and the Bold. That would have been funny. There are some things that the movie does screw up. It screws up completely any story history of Thomas Wayne. Like anything good he ever did, he won't, because in this universe, he's a bad guy. And there is a small little Easter egg in this film about like what would play in the Flashpoint. But obviously, Thomas would no longer be Batman if Bruce died. They mentioned how Bruce's mother was actually crazy, and that's why Thomas was trying to hide. So he paid some mobster off to kill the news person. There is a woke moment of the movie, which, if the movie was any better, I wouldn't need to mention it. But the movie's not that great. It's not some like high tier level as the comic book movie. It's not some the best movie ever made, like some people are saying. It's just a movie. And the not the mayor, yeah, the future mayor, the lady that wants to be mayor, mentions to Bruce how he's just a privileged white boy and he needs to do better. When you can kind of see it as it'd be a joke for like Batman, do better. Like, oh, if you only knew what he did at night, that kind of thing. But it doesn't play like that. It plays mostly because all she knows is that he's Bruce Wayne. The guy never shows up. The guy never does anything, goes anywhere. He just showed up for the mayor's funeral. And it doesn't have a noir feel. It's just a detective story feel. It has a mystery story feel. Noir, to me, would be like Batman would going, it's dark in the city. I know, blah, 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 blah. It's like he does narrate a little bit like he has he doesn't go, it was raining in the city tonight. I knew I could taste the fear of the villains in my mouth. He just he's writing. He's talking like a audible journal. In the beginning and at the end, like he doesn't think he's doing a good job. How the criminals just keep coming back. It's like, duh, you're not killing him. You're sending him to jail, or they just get released a couple days later, or a couple weeks later, or they escape in the term of in the thing of Arkham. So obviously you're not doing anything, you moron. The Penguin. Now, he did a good scene. You can't tell it's him, blah, 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 blah. But does he need his own TV show? No! That's gonna be a bore fest, a snooze fest. It's like they're giving him a TV show, and they're giving this version of Jim Gordon and those police their own TV show. That's going to be a snooze fest as well. They don't really do much in the movie. They don't really do anything like, oh, I want to know more about these guys. Like, it would make sense that they're going to have, like, the Batgirl thing that they're doing be attached to this universe and not, like, something in Keaton's universe where Keaton's universe is supposed to also be Kilmer and Clooney, so he already has a Batgirl, but they're just erasing those two. It's like, oh, well, they just share Alfreds. It's not in houses and cars and suits and references. Those two actually didn't exist. Those two actually didn't happen, though. Even Warner Brothers puts them at a set all the time. But whatever, that's something they're doing in the future. It has nothing to do with the storyline. Well, although it would make the most sense because the Batgirl they're having is a African American girl, and the guy that got to play Jim Gordon in this movie is African American. So and Batman is just starting out, so having him just get his Batgirl would also make sense. Even though he didn't have Robin yet, but they really want to have the girl power thing, so he doesn't need Robin, I guess, anymore. So if he's just starting out, this Batman, it makes sense for him to just start out with a Batgirl. That would make sense. Keaton being some old guy who's just about edge of retirement, having Batgirl come along, really doesn't make much sense. He hasn't had his sidekick this whole time. Because if you're axing off him having the Robin character, he's been alone this whole time, and now you're giving him a sidekick? It's like even Batman Beyond, what they're bastardizing for this next movie, he had his Robins, he had his Batgirl. Back then, Terry is something new, and Barbara is Jim's daughter. Wouldn't it be like his... Like, for this movie to make sense, the Batgirl movie to make sense, it'd have to be like his granddaughter. Because they're sticking with the DC universe, the one we have of like Affleck's Batman. He's gonna be the lead, and it's gonna be Keaton's Batman. and they're going to stick with his Gordon, with, J.K. Simmons. I don't care about the color thing. That doesn't make any sense. I think that doesn't matter. He could have a black wife. He could adopt, whatever. The age thing doesn't make any sense, because that Gordon is like 60, 50, like mid-50s, pushing 60. This one, passing for early to mid-40s, wouldn't make sense to have a teenage daughter. But, now this movie's on HBO Max. I'm sure people do the same thing they did with the Snyder Cut, where they press pause and go watch something else. Because this film, it feels like a binge that you are being forced to watch. It's like you can't stop because you're in a theater. If you're at home, you can, fine. And I said it before that if you can sit through Infinity War and more of the same, you can survive long movies at least once to watch it. And, I did. It's just, this film does drag a little. Like, they could have cut some scenes. It's like, I know they cut the scene of Batman going to the insane asylum to talk to Joker, because, he's had his Joker before. This movie is supposed to be a Batman Year 2 movie. And the Riddler's ending scene where him and Joker get together and talk was a little stupid to me. It's like in my original review that I posted over on the Letterboxd, I said it was pure cringe. I don't remember the movie that much anymore because, it's been a long time since I watched it. I decided to review it because I haven't done movie reviews in a while. The music was good. The cinematography, it looked like a nice film. It was done well. And I'll end it on this. I find it funny as all hell that people praised Edward for killing some random street punk kid. Because that's what that gang is. It's some street kids who are like the Skullface gang or whatever. And he beats the shit out of them. And with eternal bleeding and broken bones, that kid's dead. The one that he just beats the shit out of, like, who are you anyway? And bam, 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 bam. That's the moment everybody loved in the trailer. He killed that kid. But yet everybody bitched and complained about Ben's Batman killing a literal terrorist. It's like, the guys that were kidnapped Clark's mother were literally terrorists. They were going to blow up a building and kill people. Along with Clark's mother. They were literally stealing bombs and weapons and shit like that. So you don't want him to kill terrorists, but you want him to kill a child? A misguided child who, maybe sometime in juvie may fix it. Who knows? It's like the one kid, the kid he doesn't beat up. He's learned his lesson. He'll go off and do other things. And yeah, I get that some people can't be saved, blah, 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 blah. We don't need to get into that conversation, but still. You're going to praise him for doing that, but not the other thing. It's like with the second Captain America, before Falcon took over. He killed a literal terrorist who they blew up a hospital. I mean, yes, he decapitated a person, but, he killed a terrorist, and yet they all got pissed at him for it? I mean, yeah, he was going a little nuts at the serum and everything affecting his body and his mind and everything. So, yeah, they should have benched him for a little while, but take it away completely. So, will I ever watch this film again? Yeah. A little too long. It's like, if I don't want to watch a 3.5 hour film, I'll just watch the extended cut of BVS. I found it to be a better film, story-wise and everything. That one doesn't feel like a forced binge of a series. This feels like it was written to be a TV show. And instead of taking the intro and outros, they crammed them all together and it's a binge. It's like I said, it feels like you're sitting through a binge. And I guess if I'm at home, I might give it another shot because I can press pause, I can go get a drink, I can go to the bathroom, that kind of stuff, or I can just stop watching it and come back to it later. Even though I really don't like doing it with movies, I hate doing that with movies. It's like if I won't watch movies someday. Like I feel like watching this movie, but I only got like an hour before I go to work. I hate having to go back and finishing it the next day or something like that. That's just a quirk with me. I don't like only watching half a movie and then going half the scene and then doing something else and coming back to it. So I may not at that point. But never know. I might buy it on like Black Friday or something if it's cheap, just as a DC collector. It's like I own a lot of the Arrowverse, even though I don't like the Arrowverse because of DC collecting. It's like maybe one of the episodes was good enough to watch or something. It's like for Arrowverse, I liked Arrow until like season 4. I liked Flash until like season 3. Supergirl, I never watched it because I like the girl that plays Supergirl. I think she'd be good if she was like, if they took the Arrowverse and made it a mini-series event every year with a different crossover event type thing for like a week of episodes, or like 10 episodes a year, put them all together, like make it like a live action Justice League Unlimited, it'd be better. And then at that point, Supergirl probably be my favorite character because I like her in the crossovers. I just don't like her show. I don't know why. I've tried watching it a couple times, never liked it. Legends of Tomorrow, I stopped liking it when they killed Ripoff. I don't need to watch it anymore. I didn't bother with Constantine, even though I liked the character and liked the few episodes he was on Arrow and that. And the few episodes of Justice Tomorrow he's in, or Legends of Tomorrow I liked him in. Black Lightning, I never watched an episode, even though I really liked Static Shock. But at that point, I had kind of dropped out of the Arrowverse. Although I know Static's not in the show. I mean, he could be in the show, but I don't see him on their posters or anything. Or they would say, "Hey, here's your Static." Naomi, as I said, I dropped out. Superman and Lois, as I said, I dropped out. Although I know he's no longer Super Cuck. It's like, I know he was a worthless piece of shit in the Supergirl series, and Supergirl kicked his ass constantly to show how big of a worthless person he is, and how Supergirl's better. But I don't need to watch it. It's attached to it. I'm done with the Arrowverse. It's like I didn't even bother with buying them last year for their Black Friday stuff. I think I'll probably finish the ones that I have in the collection just to have them and finished, like a full season type thing. Or so I could sell, like Supernatural. I stopped watching it in season 10. I continued to buy them on Black Friday for $5, the seasons, just so that I could sell the complete series as a whole. If that makes any sense to anybody. So, thanks for watching and see you next time. That's turned into a rant instead of a